Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We've got news for basically the first half of the week here. Today, what's going to be happening over the next few days. And then I'd expect to hear some bigger news probably at the end of the week for like the summoning events, whatever that's going to be coming up at the weekend. Like it could be a guaranteed champion. It could be a hero's path. It could have souls. It could have whatever. I wouldn't be shocked to see a Soul Stone event at some point as well during this, the whole Odyssey Titan event. I don't know. There's definitely stuff that could come up over the next couple of weeks here between now and the next fusion starting off, I would expect. But what do we have for the next couple of days? That's the big question. Well, this is what we've got. So tomorrow, the 27th of January, it's going to be 3x Savage from Fire Knight. Okay, decent. And then on Friday, it's going to be 3x Argonite's accessories from Spider's Den. Now, there is only one Argonite at the moment. These are okay, right? They're decent. They're not must-do, but they're decent events. Not too bad. It'll be mostly if you're doing the Titan event. I'd say it'd be the main thrust of it, really. Like, you just simply don't have an Argonite champion. If you don't have Cassandra, and you're probably not really going hard on the Titan event if you don't have Cassandra. So, yeah, I would be expecting... It's not showing up right now, but I would expect that we're going to see... maybe we see them in-game? Some sort of events tying in with these. Maybe they might have appeared by the time you guys see the video. But yeah, I'd be expecting turn attack tournaments for Fire Knight and for Spider, respectively. Nice turn attack tournaments. We've just had, Dragon and Ice Golem. I think these are going to be the same type of thing. Turn attack for Fire Knight and for Spider. Pretty much expected. Cool. Like I said, if you're doing the Titan event, they're decent. If you're not, doesn't really matter. You could dip in for some Savage if you've got some spare energy, but it's not really a big deal. And there you are. Now, more importantly, we've got our summon events. They're actually pretty good at a first glance. Because I'm on my new PC, I haven't got the file over with... I need to actually do that probably this week. Get all my files actually properly sent over. So I don't have my tier list stuff kind of handy here, but we could just chat about these different champions. Also worth noting, CvC, obviously it is part of CvC, this summon event is starting tomorrow. It's not personal rewards, which is probably why the champions are quite decent. It's not a great time to pull. Let's be honest, it's a pretty terrible time to pull. Not personal rewards CvC, so that's out the window. We're expecting probably guaranteed events for the assassins sometime in the next couple of months. So that's a good reason not to pull. We're expecting a new faction in a couple of months, anniversary events in a couple of months. Like, it just doesn't seem like a great time to pull. That does mean that there are good champs up here. So, if you're at your mercy, you've pulled 200 voids, never got a void legendary, you're like, oh, I'm due one in the next 20, guaranteed. There could be some decent ones in here, and so on. So let's take a little look here. Let's go with, I don't know, yellow for these. Basim's actually decent. I never did a showcase on him, and the test server has been gone for a while. I never got to him. I might try to get to him when the test server comes back up, especially if we have a guaranteed for him. I think he's pretty straightforward, though. I think he's just good. I think he is just good. So he does provide Perfect Veil for himself, basically the whole time. So great. He's an assassin who provides his own Perfect Veil. He's an AoE that ignores defense, ignores more if he's under Perfect Veil. So he's got one of the harder hitting AoEs for the assassin. It's just a good AoE attack. It's not breaking the game. It's just a good, solid ignore defense AoE attack. Very strong. And block active skills. It does ignore block debuffs, which is really cool. There's not that many. I think this is a bit of a selling point. There's not that many champions who are good with consistent block active skills. There's quite a few kind of bad champions at block active skills, and they're hard to use. This guy's pretty good. So he's one of the more usable ones, and because he can ignore block debuffs if he's under Veil, and he self-provides Veil with an extra turn, he can do it very consistently. It's a solid move. His A1 double hitter can put Weaken if he's under Veil, guaranteed, and can debuff, spread a debuff. It's good. He has the Assassin passive, which is alright. And then he's got his own passive, where when he's attacked, he steals a buff and transfers a debuff. Ignores Polymorph. Pretty nice. Now, he does need accuracy. That is a downside. He ignores resistance if he's under Perfect Veil, but you will need to build some accuracy. But yeah, Basim, I think he's quite an interesting assassin to me. He's a very solid damage dealer. He's certainly not top tier, but he's pretty good, right? He's got good AoE damage. This move hits really hard too if you get a good few buffs and debuffs out there. He's got good single target damage. He's got a good AoE. He's got like some nice utility in his passives. He's got the block active skills that goes past block debuffs. I think he's quite nice. I think he's lovely. Not a champion, that being said, that I'd be too keen to chase in a 50 next, apart from the fact that he's limited. I'd be like, I'm just going to wait and see if there's a guaranteed event for him. I could definitely, I see him, for me, end game, I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't think he would make my arena squad. I just have better damage. But he could be great for a lot of people. But for me, he wouldn't make it in. But he would quite possibly get some look-ins for like this block active skills that ignore stuff. That could be cool. Like imagine Starsage Galathir is an event dungeon boss. And you go, oh, he's going to remove all their debuffs and put up block debuffs. That's kind of annoying. Kind of handy to go. I mean, I guess you could just remove the block debuffs. But, what if they gave Starsage Galathir like a 9-piece protection set? And you go, he's a boss. I can't lock him out. I can't one-shot him. Can't kill him. Hard to one-shot a Galathir anyway, right? But can't kill him. He is going to cleanse them, give them block debuffs. Getting block active skills through block debuffs, preventing metamorphs, all that. It's quite nice. So yeah, anyway, a lot to say about Basim. I think he's quite solid, but wait for a guaranteed. Atharion is also really good. I like Atharion a lot. I think he's very useful. One of the better legendaries in the game, right? Because he has a double hitter enemy max HP, which is great, but he also has loads of utility baked in. Block buffs on the first hit, decrease attack as well, and he gets turn meter. He turn meter boosts with an AoE A1 as well, which is nice. He self buffs, increase attack, accuracy, and speed. So it really makes his accuracy requirements for this very easy to hit. An extra turn on this as well. And then he's getting max HP when he kills an enemy or decapitates a Hydra head. He is great. He's just really, really solid. Great damage, particularly against high HP enemies. And really good utility. He's a fantastic legendary. So, yeah, is he worth going for? Maybe. Uzal is quite nice as well, actually. Like I said, these are all pretty good. Uzal, I'd say he's probably not quite as good as the other ones. He's like a really high damage, right? Can pop off and go crazy. Like when he works, he really works. So he's got the AoE, reduces shields, puts decreased defense. Can't be resisted on an extra turn. Chance for an extra turn. Big chance for each critical hit. He ignores shield block damage unkillable. He ignores Stone Skin and 100% defense if he uses it on an extra turn or instant turn. His A1, chance for an extra turn. If he kills an enemy, definitely gets an extra turn. And then he has a passive that increases everyone's chance for an extra turn. Now, this only works, by the way, if they already have chances for an extra turn, but gives them an additional 5%, which is cool. And he does more damage on extra turns. So, like, when he starts popping off, if he gets a few extra turns in a row, he could just wipe out an entire team. Pretty crazy stuff. He is like an AoE decreased defense, big single target damage. But yeah, he's quite random. He's got like no personal defenses. So again, I think he's not top tier. But I mean, I see a lot of comments from people absolutely love this guy because, okay, again, when he starts popping off, right, he really pops off. He's just going to be popping extra turns and one-shotting people left, right, and center. So again, I think he's quite good. Rotus, I think is a bit better. I'll be putting them up like this. I'm going to give Atharion the lead. I'll put maybe Rotus second. And Maria, I'm going to put actually somewhat similar to Uzal. Just a tiny bit behind Basim, actually. Maria's perhaps been a little bit of a disappointment. She's not lived up to my expectations because I was pretty excited for her. And I'll tell you the problem in a second. Rotus is very nice. I think a big part of Rotus, he scales really well off of stats. So, and it's sort of the big thing with him is he's got this cheat death passive. That's huge. And then he's got the massive nuke on the A3, which can very easily hit 100% ignore defense. So he really just deletes people, ignores unkillable block damage, and gives him an extra turn. He can fish for extra turns on his A1. His A2 can destroy max HP and give him lots, make him tanky. It's really the cheat death thing here that's really good. He does have the combination with Sifi as well, where she removes all debuffs from him every single turn. Because he's scaling so well off of speed, attack, and HP, he actually has really strong HP scaling, but terrible base HP. But if you get like a relic with flat HP on it or something, he really benefits. So Rotus scales very well off of any sort of power sources in the game because he's got multiple sources. Sort of like the Cheshire Cat scales quite well because he scales so much off of speed, that sort of thing. Yeah, Rotus, he's great. He's solid. He's definitely worth having. He's quite unique. Yeah, I find I don't use mine crazy often, but he is still a champion you do see pop up, and sometimes you go, oh shit, I gotta ban this Rotus. Like, he could just solo at my entire team. He could be a bit of a nightmare. Maria. Now, Maria has the potential to be really good. The problem for me, the number one problem with Maria is she is very difficult to play. That's the problem, right? You need to have her buffs divisible by 3 so she gets an extra turn. Okay. You need to count this. You need to use this on a move divisible by 3. What's this? On a turn number divisible by 3. So you need to be counting that. You've got the chance for the extra turn. It's just really awkward. She has so many things individually to track. Honestly, when I've come to using Maria, in actual practice on my own account, I go, would she be good? Yeah, she's actually quite strong, but it's so much hassle. You have to track. There's no way to track this in the game, right? All these things. There's no little buff. There's no counter. There's no info tab. There's nothing. You must track all of these different turn counts and effects in your head. You have to count all of them yourself. Is it worth the damn hassle for a mobile game? No, it's not. So she's a champion, might be worth revisiting if they improve the UI. She still has the I think this is still a big problem. Consistently getting her with buffs divisible by 3 is really difficult. That being said, when she pops off, she can absolutely pop off. Like, you saw it in the showcases I did of her. Just crazy damage. She's surprisingly tanky. She's a really cool champion, but yeah, she's nowhere near this bad. I think a lot of this is reaction. She got nerfed. Her A1 was busted on the test server, and she could like just solo bosses, just proc extra turns constantly. And then the game designer said, actually, we don't want people to just solo bosses by procking extra turns constantly. And instead of people saying, oh, yeah, fair enough, actually, yeah, I totally understand that, game designer, people freaked out. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, but I mean, she was supposed to be an arena champion. She is good, but she's just a lot of work. So I think she is strong. She can be amazing, but she's a lot of work. So yeah, my thoughts. I actually lean towards Atharion the most. I quite like Basim. I might put Rotus slightly ahead of Basim. Then Uzal maybe I'm going to put Uzal and Maria equal. Both have very, very good potential, but Uzal's easy to use, very easy to use, but he's just super freaking random. Maria is very difficult to use, very difficult to set up an AI preset for, anything like that, play on auto, but she is potentially strong, but kind of more hassle than it's worth. Atharion's just great, and Rotus is a solid pick that's worth having. Basim, I think, is solid and worth having. They're both doing pretty unique stuff. I'm putting Rotus slightly ahead. I think his unique stuff is probably going to crop up more often, and it'd be more useful to more people in arena and boss fights and stuff than Basim. But Basim is pretty great. I'm excited to test him out, and I'll revise my opinion on him once I've actually tested him. But he looks just solid and very standalone. As an assassin, he kind of just does his own thing. He doesn't really care too much about other assassins. Oh, we've got Cassandra. That's a weird one. I mean, she's okay, but if you wanted her, you would have done the fusion, right? Michinaki, I think he's decent. He's definitely a champ that's been power crept. There was so much hype around this guy back in the day. I remember when I pulled him, I was so excited. He's definitely very useful for progressing. He's got loads of debuffs, right? AoE buff removal and Hex. AoE decrease defense and decrease attack if they've got Hex. Burn here. Got an ally attack thing. Whenever an ally attacks, he teams up and he joins in. Now, so I guess this is a bit of an end game perspective for me, but realistically, I get like end game is you've got such broken champions these days with like Titus and Trunda and stuff. Like, is Michinaki good for Hydra? Yeah, sure. Does he get into any end game Hydra teams? No, right? Because you've got such ridiculous champions. Like, where do you fit him in? You've got 18 slots for Hydra for your 3 teams. He just doesn't make it in. That being said, for progressing in the game, he's very, very good, right? It's a lot of utility. It's very useful. His damage, his personal damage is never going to be crazy high, but you can even build him with just War Master. Don't worry about damage. Even get him in like 9-piece Feral, or just get him nice and fast and rotating through his abilities. You could even give him Reflex. Obviously, Merciless would be ideal. He's going to hit really hard and get him cooldown reduction. But he doesn't need it. Like, you can just give him War Master and have him just pumping out loads of utility and this stuff, and just all these extra attacks triggering War Master. That can add up to some nice damage, and it's very generally useful everywhere. So yeah, I think he's really, really good. But for me, he's like, I don't remember where I put him on my tier list, but my feeling would be he's a really good like A tier champion. Just solid, lots of stuff in his kit, but you know, he's not a god in 2026, whereas he was kind of godlike when he originally came out. Roxanne, now Roxanne, unfortunately, I didn't get around to testing him directly either, but this guy I think actually has quite a bit of potential. So he comes in, he now has, if he's under Veil, AoE attack, decrease defense, and weaken before attacking. And this is a 3-turn cooldown now. So 3-turn cooldown, decrease defense, weaken. And he hits pretty hard. His A2, 3-turn cooldown, turn meter boosting. Gives him perfect Veil if he doesn't have it, which is nice. His A1 gives him Veil if he crits, that's nice. His passive got buffed as well. He gets basically protected perfect Veil when enemies receive a buff. And whenever he gets a perfect Veil, he gets block debuffs, increased attack, and continuous heal. It's pretty cool. They also upped his damage a lot. So Roxam's in a pretty funky spot where he's actually okay in arena. Enemies get buffs, he gets protected perfect Veil, and then comes in with decreased defense and weaken before attacking and absolutely nukes. He's got a big single target nuke. So he's got a lot of damage. Again, he's not top tier in arena, but he does have a lot of damage. Very nice for Hydra. Pretty decent, actually, for Chimera as well. He's got some self-buffs, right? He's got the decreased defense weaken for your team. Perfect Veil is kind of nifty. He seems good. He seems solid. Again, I'm kind of feeling my vibe from seeing some bits without testing it myself was probably about an A-tier champ. You can't really go wrong with decreased defense and weaken. Now, he can weak hit and fail to place it, but I think he's pretty solid now. Probably wouldn't chase him too much, but I think he's pretty good. I think he's probably similar to the level of these champs. And then Ragash I put probably similar to the level as well. And Granite as well. Like, okay, we need to rank these relative to these ones. Ragash, he comes in. He has AoE, decreased defense before attacking again, and a stun. This is very useful for getting through Cursed City, Doom Tower waves, faction wars, anything like that. You can do some really good damage with this move. He also brings strength and increased speed for your team. Perfect Veil on himself. He also puts Perfect Veil on your highest attack champion. His A1 can do some damage and provides zone increased defense, which is nice. His damage isn't like crazy, but it's good because he gets a damage bonus if their defense is lower. He's a defense nuker. You're building him high defense, and he places decreased defense. Pretty straightforward to get this. And yeah, he's solid. He is, he's a solid champion. Again, you know, he's really, really good. There's been a lot of stronger champions since he first came out. So he's not in like the premium position he was in back then. Like we've had all the mythicals since he came out, for example, and like Marius, etc. But he is still great. I have to say, I do like him. And Granite, very recent. Dwarf, I think got kind of underrated, honestly. I think Granite, very useful for progressing. Increase accuracy for your team, decrease defense and block buffs. The problem with Granite is that his AoE attack just does not do much damage. Simple as that. The damage is simply very low on this attack. That being said, he has a 4-turn cooldown, really high damage single target attack with buffs for your team. His A1 is decent as well. Yeah, and he's sort of consistent against this, but he's very much, I think, a progression champ. He's not really an end game champion, but for progressing through the game, he's so useful to fit into your teams because he's bringing you big single target. He's breaking free from crowd control. He's easy enough to keep alive. He's buffing up your team and also giving lots of debuffs. So he's sort of like Michinaki in that sense of being kind of a utility master, which is pretty cool. So how do I feel about these? Again, I would still be going for Atharion over all of these. Rotus and Basim, yeah, that feels about right. I'm going to put Cassandra sort of similar to Uzal Maria, maybe a bit ahead. I put her maybe sort of hard to know for different people. Maybe put her somewhat similar to a little lower. Now, for me, she's lower than Basim. I think she's useful if you don't have like Ninja and stuff like that to get decreased defense and burn on a single damage dealer to try do Hydra trials. Chimera trials. Yeah, Michinaki. I'm going to put Cassandra higher than Michinaki, actually, which is kind of crazy, but I'm going to put him pretty similar. Roxam, I'm going to put a little bit ahead. I'm going to put Roxam maybe a little below Basim. Maybe I'm too high on Basim. I'm going to put Ragash. Actually, Ragash, I'll put a little lower than... I'm going to put Ragash so equal to a little lower than Michinaki. I think Michinaki stays more relevant. I think Ragash does lean a bit more towards PvP than Michinaki, which means he just gets replaced a bit sooner. Granite, I quite like. I'm going to put Granite actually pretty equal to Michinaki. I think that's kind of fair. But truth be told, for the normal shards, I'd say... let me not cover the number. I'd put it like that, and I'd put probably Rotis number 3. Honestly, I would lean towards those still. I'd say Atharion number 1. I think double hit, enemy max HP, plus his utility is very, very high value. There's relatively few enemy max HP champions. He would be the number 1 pick. Basim and Rotis give Basim a slight edge in the actual picks because of FOMO, because he's limited edition. And I put Rotis maybe up next. And then I think the others are all pretty similar. None of these are bad. Again, like they're all actually pretty good. They're all quite useful. I don't know if they would be... I want to use my Mercy timer on them, but actually, to be fair, there's so many like really shit normal legend or like really not. There's actually fairly few really shit legendaries. There's a lot of very mid legendaries. I'm like, they're a legendary, but they're forgettable. These are all, I think, a little bit above that. These are some of the more notable ones. But yeah, I'd say that those 3 on the first day are the ones that stand out to me some more. So yeah, I'd be saying Atharion and Rotis, probably the most useful 2 overall, but Basim with that the being limited edition gives him some value, and I do think he's got some pretty unique things in his kit, though again I haven't actually tested him. I do have Atharion and Rotis. I use them both a decent amount, and they're both solid. Now let's look at the Voids. Void time. Queen of Hearts, excellent champion. Nekret, also actually really excellent. Onryo, actually really good as well. Then we've got Galet, Odin, and Tunisia. So Odin is also excellent, more excellent. Galet, I think, is pretty underrated. I think he's pretty darn strong. And Tunisia, I'd say, is the worst one. But we'll just draw an M there, and those who know will know. We'll come back to her in a second. So Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts was obviously part of the Alice's Adventure collab. She's very good. Really strong ally attack. Increased attack. Team ally attack. She does decreased defense AoE. 100% chance. Displaces it and gives a turn meter boost. Very nice. She can also remove all buffs with True Fear and a Death Brand, which blocks revive if they die with it. And a crazy passive. Every 10 buffs the enemy team receives, she gets an extra turn. No cooldown on this. It could just happen. Every 10 buffs, she's cutting in. She's cutting in, cutting in. Very, very useful. Very strong for Arena. Great anti-buff champion. People are running, obviously, a lot of protection sets. Like, for example, she just wrecks like a Sifi or something like that. Though Sifis these days are typically in protection sets. But Queen of Hearts is excellent and very useful in a lot of content, because at the end of the day, she is a full team ally attack with increased attack, decreased defense. It's just good. So she's an excellent pick. Very nice for... and quite easy to build in Arena and stuff as well. She's sick, like an anti-source speed, anti-buff champion. Very cool. Nekret, I think, is a little underrated by people. I think Nekret is actually excellent. Nekret the Great. What is unique about him is he protects someone at the start of a round. What's it? Yeah, puts block debuff, strengthen on the ally with the lowest max HP and ally protection at the start of a round. So your attack nuker, your squishy attack nuker, he's instantly protecting them. The ally protection can't be removed. And when they take damage, he can give them a really big shield, which is lovely. He can call them in for ally attacks. He can apply that shield stuff to other people on your team. He's good. I think he's really solid. Obviously, there are some counters to him, but I think he opens up a lot of attack-based damage dealers that otherwise aren't that good or are difficult to be used. He makes them much stronger in Arena. Even non-attack based nukers. Like I've seen like Nekrets run with the Marius just to keep the Marius alive. And it actually works pretty well. So yeah, if people don't have a counter for this, it can be really strong. He's particularly good with Eilil, who I also think is extremely underrated. But Eilil, because he gains turn meter when he receives a buff. It's one of, I guess it's a pretty well-known combo at this point. But yeah, Eilil gets those buffs from Nekret, gives him like 30% turn meter instantly at the start of the fight. You can have like, Eilil can technically be, apart from Hegemon, he's the second fastest champion in Arena if you set him up right, which is kind of disgusting. And he can just come in and start like nuking people, ignoring Stone Skin, and just, yeah, can start wrecking stuff. It's a pretty cool combo. But I think Necret is particularly good with Sanguine Maria. There you go. It's an easy way to activate it. You can protect Rotus even. I don't know. There's a lot of champions that can start to do really well when you pair them up with a Necret. I think he's very useful, actually. He's certainly not top tier, but I think he's very useful. Onryo, good as well. Onryo Iyasu here. He's just a very good damage dealer, and he's very squishy. You could pair him up with Necret. I think he's particularly good to counter some Undead Horde stuff because he does extra hits. But he can even be locked out. Let's say he gets locked out by a Fabian. I don't know. They run like CvC Fabian. I run CvC Fabian a good bit. And I've had Onryo picked against me, and it's kind of rough because he can just come in and he just like starts one-shotting the Undead Horde people. He does 2 extra hits if they're under a buff and Undead Hordes, and he gets an extra turn. He just like pops the Fabian, pops the CvC, and then he gets back, because there's a 3-turn cooldown, he gets back to his Ignore Stone Skin, nuke someone under Stone Skin, or he gets over to his Block Revive, and he Block Revives your damage, and you're like, okay, well, all right. Either my damage dealer is either Block Revived or he killed them through Stone Skin. It's kind of rough, and he also splashes some damage. He's quite strong for PvE as well. Let's say he's not top tier, but he's very good. He's it's easy to underestimate him because he's like all single target damage, but because he is splashing that damage, he actually is quite good in AoE content, quite decent. But yeah, he's quite nice. So yeah, is he a must pull? Certainly not, but he's a pretty fun champ if you happen to get him. Again, I would be saying Odin is going to be number 1, though, and I'm going to put Queen number 2, and I'm going to give a joint 3rd to Gaelet and Necret. You know what? I wonder if Gaelet's just better. I don't know. I like them both. I'm going to give 4 to Onryo, but he's still excellent, and Tumisia gets an M. So, Gaelet. I think Gaelet kind of flew a bit under the radar. Not much hype about this guy. I think his active skills aren't too exciting, and AoE stun and decreased defense. It's good, right? It's good. He's void, so no weak hits. A1 can decrease buffs. Cool, can put block buffs protected on bosses. I think what's special though is this move. Removes all debuffs, heals them based off his HP, gives them a shield and fortify. Very nice, but it's combined with this passive. Every 10 debuffs this champion's team receives, he activates this move. And when it's activated, the buffs are protected, which is insane. So any 10 debuffs his team receives, full stop. Think about that for like any boss fights you're doing in the future. Or again, in PvP, like an Odin comes in or something. And you're going to get a protected shield, a protected fortify, plus all your debuffs removed and a big heal. It's actually very solid for survivability. I think Gaelet actually has quite a lot of potential. I think he's not particularly exciting. He's not a very exciting Void Legendary, but I think he's a bit of a workhorse with this passive and this A3 for like keeping you alive. I think it's quite cool. So I think he's a bit underrated. I'm going to say he's probably around Necret level. Tumisia, first of all, she's the M. What is the M? She's one of the lesser Void Legendaries, like AoE Burn, can stun or decrease speed. Single target smack that decreases turn meter, hits a bit hard, A1 decreased defense. Okay. She's fine. She's very mid. Not useless, not amazing, mid. Like decent, nothing special. But she's very special because she is the champion who empowers Mr. Marius. If you want to empower your horse, who's arguably the strongest legendary in the game, where I might have scrolled past him, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, there we go. Empowered by Tumisia. So she's actually very attractive for any whales because Marius is super relevant for whales. So she's a good one to spend all your money on if you want. But on herself, not too special. And then finally, Odin. I'd say Odin would be the bigger pick here. Odin is lovely. Crazy speed aura for arena. But his passive is incredibly strong. Every 9 turns that anyone takes, and again, there's no timer here, so it's very easy for enemies to get taken by surprise. It's just a pain in the ass to track this. Again, there is no info tab. There's no counter. There's no in-game way to know this. You must count it yourself. And if you mess it up, it can screw you, because he puts block damage on himself, and then buff spreads all of his buffs to all of his allies. So he's very consistently giving his team block damage, which can be very difficult to deal with. He has full buff removal with decreased defense and a stun. That's incredibly strong. Because it's the full buff removal, this makes this far stronger than like Ragash or Galet, who don't have that buff removal, because it makes it way better in Arena. He's got full buff steal on a single target. That's an enemy max HP nuke. This hits really hard. You build him with some damage. He is kind of gear intensive, mind you, but you build him well, and he can kill people pretty consistently in Arena and revive people with it. His A1 does Berserk, which is a bit mid, but it's there. And yeah, he's just it's just a crazy kit. It's such a strong little kit here. He's a great champ. Guess like one of his weaknesses would be that he's not going to be going first, right? Because you need to build him with crit rate and crit damage. And yeah, you're going to need accuracy as well. Like you just can't, and he doesn't have crazy high base speed. Even though he's got the crazy speed aura, he's never going to be, or it's highly unlikely he's going to be ridiculously fast. So he can be outsped and locked out by a Fabian or something like that fairly easily. We've obviously got a lot more champions these days coming in to ignore block damage because it's such a problem. But yeah, Odin is pretty cracked, right? He's incredibly, incredibly strong. So yeah, he's a big win for anybody to get. So yeah, I would say Odin, yeah, it's gone small for whatever reason, but that would be my personal ranking. I say Odin is the clear number one here with Queen of Hearts. And then I think Nekrat and Galet being both a little bit underrated, but quite cool protectors. And Onryo, the fun champ, not a must-have, but quite a fun, good damage dealer. And Tumisi empowers Marius. And then, yeah, the non-voids, as I said, I think Atharion's probably the most unique value. Cassandra, we've just done the fusion, so you would have done the fusion if you wanted her. I think Basim is decent, but I'd be probably, again, I'm putting him number 2. But, I mean, let me write this here. Wait. Just for everyone who's just skips to the last 2 seconds of the video. Don't want to mislead them, right? Yeah. But I'd be tempted to wait for a guaranteed. There might not be a guaranteed. You know, it might be a shard-only champion. But if he is, it's kind of my vibes. But for me, he's a champion. I'd be quite happy to get in a guaranteed because he's quite interesting. But I don't feel like he's a must-have. Sort of like Onryo. He's not a must-have, but he's good. Yeah, Atharion would be the one to go. And then I'd say like Rotus. And you know what? I'll put Rotus joint second instead. So I don't know. How do I erase this? Ooh, there we go. Let's do 2A and 2B. How about that? There we go. So yeah, Atharion, them, and then you can really pick if you want one of the other ones. Like go for it. I think they're all good. They're all good champions. Again, all of these would be champions you'd be pretty happy to pull, just randomly. But there you are, guys. I will see you tomorrow for CvC. That's been an in-depth breakdown, everything you need to know, hopefully, about these champions. Yeah, it is funny. A lot of these were like really, really good champs when they first came out. It's just been like sort of power creep. Like Tumisi was great when she first came out, but power creep and so on. Lots of power creep in the game. So good few, lots of them quite affected here that were formerly like absolutely top tier are now really good, like notably good champions, but not top tier. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for that stream tomorrow. Goodbye.